Hey y'all, welcome back to my What's for Dinner videos. Sorry, that's my kiddo in the background. But anyway, I have some oil heating up over here because I'm going to make some steak fingers. I have 2 eggs and some milk in this bowl. And then in this bowl, I have some flour, salt, pepper, and garlic powder, just to keep it simple. And I also seasoned up my meat with the salt, pepper, and garlic powder. I'm going to go ahead and batter up my steak fingers by dredging it in flour, and then I'm going to dip it in my egg mixture, which is basically 2 eggs mixed with some milk, and then I'm going to dip it back into the flour, and I'm going to continue and repeat this process until they're all the way battered, and then I'm going to start frying. While my second batch is frying, I went ahead and took some of the oil out of that pan and put it in my pot and added some flour and started making a roux. That way I can go ahead and make some white gravy. After my roux is done, I'm going to pour in my milk and then add my salt and pepper until it's done. And this is what it looks like. And if you don't like it this thick, you can thin it out with some milk, vice versa. And this was our dinner. Hey y'all, tonight for dinner I'm gonna make meatloaf for my husband. It's his favorite, so I'm gonna go ahead and make that. I do not measure anything out, you guys. This is just something I make all the time. I just wing it. So anyways, I put in 1 egg, 1 pound of ground beef, salt, pepper, Tony's, garlic powder, some Worcestershire sauce, some milk, some Italian breadcrumbs, and some ketchup. But instead of hearing me ramble on, I'm gonna just let y'all listen to the music. And this is what it looked like when it was done after cooking in the oven on 350 for 45 minutes. In the middle of that, I added some ketchup on top and I made me some wings. Hey y'all, it's Wednesday, and for dinner we're gonna have a sheet pan meal I got off Pinterest. I ended up doing it a lot different than the recipe. I'll put this information below, but I used olive oil, ranch seasoning, garlic powder, salt, pepper, and parsley. I had to make more of this mix because it was too thick, and I poured that on my potatoes. I went ahead and poured some of my mixture in my bowl and mixed up my potatoes and carrots. I made room for my pork chops. I ended up getting this mixture and just brushing it on both sides of my pork chops. I used boneless pork chops and they're really thick, so I actually ended up cooking this for 40 minutes and the potatoes were tender, the meat was done, but the carrots were not tender. So that's one thing to take into account. I even cut some of them in half and they still were not tender. So that wasn't really the best idea to put them in there. Maybe if I had the degree up more, it would cook better. Hey y'all, it's Thursday night. For dinner tonight, we're going to have sheet pan chicken fajitas. I went ahead and preheated my oven to 400 degrees. I thinly sliced 3 chicken breasts, and I also poured in a packet of fajita seasoning and 2 tablespoons of olive oil, as well as some frozen vegetables. After being in the oven for 20 minutes, this is what it looked like. I had rice, beans, and chili salsa and chips. Hey y'all, this is gonna be what's for dinner for Friday. I totally forgot to show y'all what it looked like when it was done, but here's 2 chicken breasts. I seasoned it with lemon pepper seasoning, and then in this bowl I have white long grain rice with salt, pepper, water, and I also put in a can of cheddar cheese soup and a can of cream of chicken, and I'm just gonna basically pour that mixture over this chicken and let it cook, and whenever it's done, I'm gonna add cheese on top, and then it's gonna be a cheesy chicken and rice casserole, but in the crock pot. It turned out pretty good, but I wouldn't recommend using lemon pepper seasoning in here. I would have probably rather done some salt, pepper, garlic powder, maybe even some Tony's, and I think it would have turned out a lot better, but that's just my opinion. And maybe I would have used cream of mushroom instead, but I will put the recipe below. I got it off of Pinterest, but this is gonna cook on low for 4 to 6 hours. Hey y'all, it's Saturday. I'm making Ritz Chicken. I went ahead and lined my crock pot with my crock pot liner, and then I put in 4 chicken breasts and seasoned it with salt and pepper. In a separate bowl, I mixed 1 can of cream of chicken and 2 cups of sour cream, and that's what you're seeing right now. I'm pouring it on top. And in another bowl, I melted some butter and crushed some Ritz crackers and mixed that together. You guys, I can't stress this enough. Make sure you actually follow your instructions. I just kind of eyeballed everything like I normally do, and the butter and Ritz cracker ratio is off a little bit. It's more soggy than I would want, but I'm not stressing it. I've made this recipe several times before and it's been fine. I always end up adding more Ritz crackers towards the end anyway. So right now I'm pouring it in, and as you see, it's more soggy than I would want. But a tip is to go ahead and add more Ritz crackers at the end anyway. That way it's crispier on top and not so soggy. But this is going to be what's for dinner. I'll show you when it's done. And this is what it looked like when it was done. It was super juicy, so I shredded the chicken and actually added some more Ritz crackers on top after I shredded it. I'm going to put it on top of mashed potatoes. Thank y'all for watching. That's what's for dinner.